Hey everyone, Divine Duchess here with another installment of Self-Love, a Personal Journey. I thank you for joining me. I thank you for those who have subscribed. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I thank you for joining me on this beautiful journey that I am on, and I hope that my words and my story in some shape or form will encourage anyone to delve into finding oneself. And I appreciate you to like, share, and subscribe. My voice is really groggy. Sorry, I just kind of woke up, and a lot of things on my mind. I'm the type of person who generally keeps their own counsel. I didn't really grow up in an environment where I had people around me that I could go to bear my soul to pick up the pieces for me or help me to pull it all back together. This has been a thing for me from a child. It has always been something that I had to deal with on my own. As much as I've had like tons of family around me or even friends, it was never really a safe space for me within those environments for me. And I've always had to kind of like figure it out on my own, come up with the plan on my own, the design, the plan, whatever it is that I had to figure out, whatever it is I needed to do or have done, or I had to do it on my own. And I say that to say that this journey that I'm on is not easy. To really go within and to find yourself, to really find out who you are and who I am. It's not an easy journey, and I can understand why some people don't want to do the work to really heal and move forward and try to make themselves mentally and emotionally better. Because when we really start digging and really starting to see, it becomes a revelation. At the same time, it becomes heartbreaking, and it's almost feeling like you're reliving certain emotions and dynamics in your past or in your present that makes you feel away. And what I'm feeling right now, and there's points of happiness and there's points of where I'm in this lull of trying to break down what it is that I'm feeling. And over the holidays, Christmas, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and Happy New Year. I really don't feel like this is the New Year. I don't believe that anything starts new when it's in the middle of a season and it's hibernation season. You can't. This is the time to go within. It's the time to hibernate and to really start planting for the coming spring. But back to what I was saying. I'm going off tangent. During the holidays, I was having a conversation with my mother, and my mother is somebody that I find very hard to connect with when it comes to like emotions and to try to get a better understanding for my own self and for her. And I feel like when I ask her certain questions, when I need to find out answers for me, I think those questions hit her deep in a way where she has to really go within to her feelings to answer my questions. So having those conversations with her are very difficult. But I was talking to her about her childhood, when she was in Jamaica and how it was. It wasn't easy for her. after a couple of days of like trying to pull teeth with her, I finally got her in a car and locked her down, and we're driving to, Michael's, and picking up Christmas stuff, and we're just talking, and she tells me how at 3 in Jamaica, for some reason, they had this thing of swapping kids. Like, I don't know if anybody knows anything about that, if they're from the Caribbean. But her mother and her mother's sister, they swapped kids. My mother went to her aunt, and my grandmother took my aunt's son. And from that point, they were split apart. In Jamaica, my mother stayed in Montego Bay, and her mother stayed in Kingston. And while her mother was in Kingston, she was living her life. She had even more kids. And while my mother was living in Montego Bay with my aunt, they took her out of school at 9. And when they took her out of school at 9, she had to stay home and take care of her cousin's kids. While her cousin went off to school, the cousin even went off to have even more kids, while my mother stayed home, lacked the education, lacked the chance for an opportunity to become who she wanted to become. That was snatched from her because she wound up in a position where she had to take care of other people's problems for the majority of her life. And while she's over there, she's not seeing her mother that often. She's, just hearing her, hear her tell her story, and how painful it was. It just clicked to me on certain things about myself and my abandonment issues, and how abandonment was almost normalized because this is just how it has always been. And I have to think past just my mother's situation to my grandmother's situation to how her life was. I don't know, she's no longer here to even ask those questions, but to know that the trauma of whatever is going on in my family generations has gone on for so long that it has become normalized, and it broke my heart. I was so heartbroken. I was so hurt for her, and I was so hurt for myself. I was so sad that I was just Christmas morning, I was just bawling all morning. And it just made me put the situation, gave me a piece of the puzzle to my life and what I want for my life and what I need. Sorry about that. I had to pause for a moment. I had to take care of something. I forgot where I was at, because now I'm on the road. Right. I think I was on trying to figure out. Yeah. Well, my mother had her issues, and although it was the holidays, and it was a moment, like I said, a piece that helped me put together how I behaved in my previous relationships and how I see myself and how I've made certain decisions in my life and made certain turns, and where that has been an issue for me. Now I understand. And as I'm telling my mother's story, I go back to her again with where she had to leave her children behind also. She had to leave her children that she had in Jamaica before she came to the country, of course. And my siblings are here in the States now, but they are also suffering from abandonment issues, abandonment from their mother, leaving them behind for her sister to raise for many years, up until they were in teens. They were almost in their 20s. My brother, he was like 19, and my sister, she was probably like 17. And when they came, I was maybe like 10 or 11 years old when they came here. So when they were in Jamaica and they came here, even out as an adult, and our relationship and just seeing them and with how they behave throughout life and even how they behave with me, you can see that that is a string that connects to us all because of the abandonment that we've all experienced. And to have that peace, it helps me to heal the parts of me that needs to be healed at this time. And even though it was on Christmas and I was crying, but it was a cry of healing and acceptance and a better understanding of who I am and who I want to be, like, and where I want to go. So take the time, ask questions. I know it's hard for our parents sometimes to go back in time to have these kind of conversations. And the more you pull, especially if you know your family background is a lot of trauma and there's a lot of other things going on, it's hard to have those kind of conversations. And, also it's the benefit, that the blessing about it is that I have my mother here with me still, so that I can ask those questions and I can learn my history and I can understand how certain things came about in her life and how certain things came about in my life, and how I can change that for my girls, for them to be able to go, not to say they're not going to face their own, traumas or whatever the situation may be, but at least that one, I know that I'm aware, so that I have cognizant. I know that I want to make sure that my daughters don't experience the type of abandonment that I did. So healing is a journey, and it takes time if you want to really do it. Focusing on yourself. We are so distracted by so much things, and it's hard. It's taking time to sit back and sit with yourself. It's not easy. Asking yourself those hard questions and having to hold yourself accountable isn't easy. Life itself is, I'm not even going to, it's like you say, it's not easy. Life is just life. And life is what you make it. But loving yourself and knowing yourself and honoring yourself and making yourself better is an accomplishment. It's a success, an achievement within itself that you should just have for yourself. Not even outside people, not anybody from the outside looking in. It's just a personal thing that, I've personally achieved this new mindset or this new way of thinking and being for myself. And it's a personal achievement. And within that, it's beauty in that. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out with me. And I hope to continue to share my journey with you, with me also, because it helps me to get it all out. And I will talk to you soon. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye.